Hi, my name's Susie, and along with my husband Charlie and our three children, we hosted a Hope at Home guest last October for 4 months. We decided to host because it felt like a real tangible and practical way to live out Jesus' calling to love the stranger, to welcome the stranger. We really love the work of Hope at Home and we believe in justice and fairness. And it felt like it got to a point where God was saying, you believe these things, but do you believe them enough to welcome someone into your own home? And we felt challenged to take a risk and take that step of faith to do it.
We don't get sort of great visions or pictures or anything from God, but He seems to open doors for us and push us into things that we didn't think we would ever do. And this just came at the right time when we saw an advert for an evening that Jared was hosting to find out about Hope at Home. We've got a spare bedroom. We've never classed our house as our house. We always think that we're just looking after it for the time here. We've got a spare bedroom, and basically in the Gospels, this is what it tells us to do, to share what we have and to look after the people on the margins. So that's what we do,
Excellent.
or try to do.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things about our house is we've always really felt that it's somewhere which we want to share and we want to be thankful to God for. And very early on, we've enjoyed having many people to come and stay. And when I heard about Hope at Home on the radio, on Premier Radio one year, I decided that that was something I really felt I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to offer a home and to really make a difference in somebody's life. And so that's how we started with Hope at Home.
I would describe hosting as a bit of a journey. For me, it was a real journey with some ups and downs, and that was really all around my own reaction to having someone else living in my space, taking time and alongside the normal bits of daily life. And it felt like I was being challenged at points really to love sacrificially when I felt tired, when there was lots of other stuff going on, to actually put that aside and give some time and attention to this lovely person we had with us.
It's a mixture of challenge and joy. But it's not too much of a challenge because we know that God says that He will never ask us to do anything that we can't do. And it's also joy because we know we're doing what we should be doing. But it's also, as you build a relationship with your guest, then actually, and they understand you and you start to understand them, then it gets a lot easier. And they also cook some amazing food for you.
Yes, they certainly do.
Well, we've actually only had one guest and we've had her since November last year. So our experience has been so far very positive. We've really enjoyed having her in our house. And one thing is we just seem to learn so much from her. And it's very interesting the way many of our views are challenged on a day-by-day basis as we learn more about the sort of lives that so many people have, which is so very different to ours.
We had quite a few best moments. I think ones that stick out to me are when she first arrived and I showed her her room. She dropped her bags, threw her arms around me and said thank you. And I just knew that we were doing the right thing. There were also some really lovely moments of her playing with our two girls in particular who loved playing schools with her, doing crafts with her, and to just see her enjoy that was really wonderful. It was also a great moment when we were able to share with her that she was going to be able to go home. She wanted to go back to the Philippines where she had originally come from 20 years ago. And that was a real passion of hers, a real desire. And it was so wonderful after quite a long time working with the Home Office to be able to tell her that actually her dream was coming true. It was quite an emotional moment waving her off, but it was so wonderful to know she was going back to her home to live out her years where she wanted to be.
I think when we've had some challenging guests, and partly because it's a situation we've never been in, so understanding and trying to be compassionate and helpful can be difficult. But then a note comes or is left on the table, a little card to open, and it said, the particular one I'm thinking of, this lady had been so fearful of being near men because of her experiences that she couldn't stay in a room where there was a man. And she wanted us to know that she actually felt safe staying in the same room as Steve if there was nobody else there. And that just warmed the cockles of my heart, really. And you know, to know that she felt safe in our house after all that she'd been through. So that was my best moment.
We've had so many, it's very difficult to say about just one, but I know very early on when our guest came to stay, we also have living in our house 2 rescue dogs. And she was extremely shy and very, and didn't make eye contact. But one relationship that she built up so very early was with our dogs. She said, I know exactly how the dogs feel. One of our dogs hides behind the sofa a lot because he's frightened of people. And she said, oh, that's how I feel. And she very much connected with the dogs, and she's built up such a strong relationship with them. But not just that, she's built up a very strong relationship with my son as well. She feels sometimes that we are a little bit not so approachable, but she's very willing to ring him up and to tell him things that perhaps she wouldn't tell us. So all in all, a lot of positive experiences. Very difficult to say one that's been the best.